Hello again, and welcome to the second video in this three-part series about adding custom tables into the Gold client configuration. Be advised that watching the videos in sequence is recommended to best understand the content. There are two main parts to the agenda. The first is to provide details regarding the client construct and data echo frameworks so that the user can ideally understand if a custom table should be added to one or both. The second part is to explore a variety of table relationships so that when adding a custom table into the data echo framework, it is done correctly and with performance in mind. Gold Client's two main components, Client Construct and Data Echo, each have their own configuration set, which Qlik refers to as frameworks. Because Client Construct is designed to copy full tables only, its framework contains only master data tables. And since Data Echo is designed to copy subsets, its framework is designed to store both master and transactional data tables. So, it makes sense for the team to determine if a custom table contains master data or transactional data so that it can be added into the respective framework. Typically, master data tables are added to both the Client Construct and Data Echo frameworks, though this is not a Gold client requirement. And transactional data tables are added almost exclusively to the Data Echo framework. To help teams segregate master data from transactional data, I thought it might be helpful to provide a definition of master data, and found this one on SAP Help's website, Getting Started with MDM, What is MDM? Master data is the core data of an enterprise that exists independently of specific business transactions and is referenced in business transactions. It builds the foundation for the smooth execution of business processes and well-informed business decisions. Master data represents business objects rather than business transactions and is rarely changed over a long period of time. So, now that you have an understanding of the two frameworks and their differences, let us focus next on the recommended analysis which is needed for determining the appropriate relationship of custom tables. This is an important step so that when adding custom tables into the Data Echo framework, it is done correctly and ideally for optimal performance. Since Data Echo is used to copy data subsets, its framework contains thousands of parent-child table relations to help ensure that dependent data is included in the copy accordingly. All table relations in the Data Echo framework are based on shared or common fields. It is Qlik's recommendation to always use at least the first field on a table's primary key or on a secondary index to avoid long-running database queries. This is especially true for Oracle, SQL, DB2 databases, and the like. For HANA databases, this recommendation is not as critical. Let us now explore a variety of custom table examples to see how they may be added into the Data Echo framework. In this example, we can see the table Z Collection Rules uses the primary key field of KUNNR, which stores the customer number. Therefore, this table should be mapped from table KNA1 since it uses the same primary key field. This example shows table ZC2F SO item having a primary key of sales doc and item, so it could be related from either table VBAK or VBAP. However, Qlik recommends avoiding the use of line item fields like POSNR, because the values may not necessarily align between the two tables. Be aware that all fields configured in the table relationship must match for the data to be included in the export. For example, if the line item numbering in the custom table is 1, 2, 3, but the SAP table uses numbering 10, 20, 30, since those values do not match, the data in the custom table would not be exported successfully. In this example, a relation from VBAK, VBELN should suffice and produce positive results for copying the data stored in this custom table. Also, it is important to realize that a sales document field may not always mean a sales doc. It could mean a delivery, a billing doc, or some other SD-related document. The data element assigned to the given field may help identify the object, but oftentimes the data element may be generic, such as VBELN, or it might even be custom. Of course, this topic is not unique to SD, but occurs in all SAP modules to varying degrees. So, in some cases, it may be necessary to view the data in the two tables to see if the fields actually match. Here is another example where table ZDS400BKPF would likely be related from table BKPF, where all three fields on the primary key would be used to create the relation. Although the user could choose to use only the company code and accounting doc number fields for the relation, that may not lead to the desired results because then documents across multiple fiscal years may be included in the data copy. Instead, it would be best to include the fiscal year field as well so that the desired data, and only the desired data, is copied. Let's look at a more complex situation and hypothesize that there was a need to create a relationship to table ZDS400BKPF, but using something other than the primary key. This capture shows that index 4 exists and consists of the reference procedure, object key, and logical system fields. For optimal performance, the reference procedure field must be used since it is the first one on the index. However, this is too generic of an input to use on its own, and so the object key field must also be used. The logical system field should probably be included as well. It is important to note that this index exists in the database, which is important for performance reasons. Indexes that exist only on the ABAP layer are not useful for Gold Client purposes. Please reference SAP provided content for more information here as needed. In this example, table Z barcode appears to be entirely custom, since even the data elements are custom objects. It is unlikely that this table would be related from any standard SAP table. In the case of tables like this one, it can be added into an all-new data type instead of being added into a data type that Qlik has provided. In this final example, table ZDS400ATT would not be a good candidate for creating a relationship from another table because it is basically a configuration table based on the fields which are present. Instead of adding it into the data echo framework, this table is a better fit in the client construct framework where it would be treated as a master data table. The examples provided here are not all-encompassing, so if your team has questions about creating relationships to custom tables, freely submit a support case and Qlik's Gold Client team will respond accordingly. We have now reached the end of this video. It is my hope that you have gained some understanding about the two configuration frameworks, as well as the important role that table relations play for integrating custom tables into the data echo framework. I encourage you to watch the final video so that you have an understanding of the different options available within the Gold Client solution for adding custom tables into the configuration frameworks.